Hello my friends. I sold most of my knife collection. I did this for a few reasons. Nothing bad, nothing to do with being any less into knives. In fact, largely to do with being more into knives and figuring out where I'm sitting in this bizarre hobby and where I fit into this little community. So much of the knife community is like a collector community. People who just like having the things in cases and sort of picking them out and perhaps choosing to take one out every, certain slot in their rotation. And I always thought maybe I'm one of those people. I've had a proper bit of introspection lately and I've made some changes. Not just to the old dome here, but also to just the way I'm looking at which knives I keep, why I keep them, and what I like to do the most, which, I definitely feel like I'm in my 2007 Britney phase.
Oh my god! She is completely bald.
That's for sure. Just wrecking shit, So yeah, we are looking at a massive reduction in knives that I, until very recently, believed were safe. The main reason I did it was I wanted to know how it feels. I wanted to feel something again, damn it. And to an extent, that's a little bit like how it was. I had so many knives, well not so many, but in my mind I had so much money worth of knives sitting in my box. They weren't safe queens, so I could never think, in my mind I was like, well I can't really sell any of these because I've used them so much. But I'm only using them, I'm taking them once every, couple of weeks or something. When I get through my whole rotation, that's especially if I'm reviewing stuff as well, I was like, well, why am I actually retaining these when I could just keep the cycle going, keep perpetuating it? And so I've sold 8 of my knives that I thought were really, really safe. I've kept 3. 3 is my main EDC rotation and some others for other sort of channel related reasons, but it's been quite the culling. So let's talk about, what I've done is I've sold a lot of my knives on eBay. And what I did was, even the ones that were quite rough, like my Benchmade 940, it had quite a tall grind, still in otherwise okay condition. My Mantra, Spyderco Mantra, great knife, had, patina all over the blade from the Knife Lab. All that stuff, very frankly described them on eBay. All sorts of pictures. And sure enough, people are still happy to buy a knife that is either no longer made in the case of the Mantra, or still, it's like half price for my used 940, so I guess there's still a market for it. I prefer eBay. I just sell everything on eBay because it's relatively anonymous. I don't have to talk to people and barter back and forward, and just people get odd when they're spending their money, and I figure on eBay, you literally bid as you go, so you can stop at any point. And as long as the photos are clear enough, then I'm happy. So what went? The Emerson A100 went. The Wii Keen went. The Mastrop Laconico Keen went. The Spyderco Mantra went. The Zero Tolerance 0470 went. The Line Steel Best Man, that was a good knife, but it was never really part of my main ones. That went as well. I also sold the Spyderco Stretch. I was going to film a review on it, but just didn't connect with me. So, and that's a part of me as well. I keep knives sitting around and sitting around and sitting around. If I feel like I'm forced to make a video on it, I never ended up happy with that video, so I ended up selling it. It's a fine knife, a good knife even, but that's just the way it was. So yeah, I've sold a lot of my collection and I've kept 3. 3 main users, which are Spyderco Spidey Chef, Spyderco Police 4 K390, and the TRM Atom. So yeah, everything else, the Almar, Falcon, the Cold Steel American Lawman, my Ontario Rat 2 even, my Kershaw, they're all given away or sold. I sold the knives that had some value, and the knives that I'd really used and beaten up a lot, I just gave them to family members and friends. Other knives I sent to other reviewers. So I've sent my Native Chief to Genuine Junk for him to do a written review on. I sent the Cold Steel Code 4 and the AD10 to Martin at Dutch Bushcraft Knives. He's just getting into folding knives, and I figured he'd make a video that would give lots of other enjoyments to everyone else. So I gave them to him. Good knives, great knives even, but it's just kind of how I've been feeling. The knives are best served, I think, when I or other people are making good things with them. They're not doing much good just being used and carried by me every so often. I figure I wanted to see if I could do without that, all for the sake of having a bit more liquid income to spend and make more fun videos with for the channel. So that's what I'm doing at sort of this, like, as the year wraps up. That's kind of how I'm going into the hobby. So yeah. Other knives that I've kept are my reference samples. So I've kept a Buck 110 for size comparisons. Very common knife. I feel like most people know what a buck 110 is. I've kept the Spyderco Delica. This is the SG2. The Super Gold, Super Gold 2 HAP 41. I had the ZDP one. I actually tried to sell this one, but it's not that, the centering's a bit crap, so the person didn't want to buy it once, and so I just said send it back. So I ended up selling my ZDP one, keeping this one just for size comparisons. Absolutely fine. It's still completely usable knife as well, but it's that, and also the Paramilitary 2, which doubles as also being a gift that really sort of floored me a while back as well from one of my viewers too. And speaking of gifts, I've also kept the Buck Marksman and the GEC Farm and Field Tool as well, because they were gifts from just subscribers who really, went out of their way. They weren't other reviewers or anything like that. So everything else though, I've either given away to other reviewers, to family members, or I've sold. So yeah, what's the future of the channel? Well, looking brighter, I think. I've freed up a good bit of income to do videos on things that I think people really want to see videos on, stuff that people have been asking me for. So people have been asking me to look at these SK5 variants of the Cold Steel sort of flagship fixed blades. So I've got an SRK here and a Recon Tanto here from Cold Steel in the SK5 steel. So cool. I've just ordered the Falconeven A1X and the Falconeven F1X. The brand new Falconevens with the new sheaths, the slab handles, and the laminated cobalt steel. So very cool. Other smaller knives like the CRKT D2 Pi Large, the large Pi Large. It's a budget knife. People have said, yeah, you're looking at too many expensive knives, and yeah, maybe. And I'm also very much got my ears out for the next editions maybe of these three. Right now, Brian, I don't know if you remember Brian, the legend who sent me the TRM. Brian has sent me his Sebenza to try. And I'll tell you what, this is a really undeniably good knife. It does just work. It's so much money though, so I'm amazed to have this opportunity to see if I actually want to buy one of my own. He sort of said to me, review it and see how you go. So I may end up adding a Sebenza to my collection. I don't know. I really don't know. Or maybe I'll review this one and that will be that itch scratched, and I will send it back and I'll be happy having liked and enjoyed this knife without even owning it. I don't know. So I've got a lot of sort of resources freed up now to sort of re-examine things and make some slightly riskier purchases. I've still got some Knife Lab stuff in the pipeline. I've got a few knives from Chris to send back. I'm just to test and send back or move on. Dave's knives are just about to get back. I'm just waiting for some customs forms to get rid of them so they don't nag me too much. Who would have thought having 12 mules sent in a big box would cause customs to shit their pants so badly, but it did. So I'm just in the midst of dealing with that. So yeah, I've been sort of buoyed by the eagerness of people to loan me things, and I take loaners rarely, and when I do, it's under massive amounts of are you sure, are you sure, are you sure, I may be a while with this, are you sure, sort of stuff. I seem to have good dialogues with the people I do take loaners from, but largely I'm just wanting to free up extra money because I don't really take samples. I don't really take, I don't ask companies for free stuff. In fact, I don't really want to know anyone from any companies. So largely, as you say, this is a self-funded little endeavor. If you love this channel heaps, the Patreon helps because it helps me buy rope and also helps me take a few riskier purchases on things that I may not be able to resell or may not like. If you care, otherwise just watch the videos, hit like, and you're still really doing your part. So thanks so much. So yeah, more knife entertainment is on the horizon. More new interesting knives coming up. At the cost of knives that were sitting in a cupboard doing not really much apart from being carried once every 10th day and me looking at them going, I like this. Because whilst that's nice, I think that resource could be put to a little bit better use. My feelings now that I have are largely good. I don't know, I'll watch back some of those videos, maybe I'll feel a sting, maybe I will rebuy again a couple of them, I don't know, we'll see how the future, we'll see where the future takes me. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy I did it. If you're feeling a bit weird about your knives and weird about your collection, or largely, really, frankly speaking, if you're having some money stuff going on in your real life, it actually feels really good. And I actually, because I've used a couple of the sales that I've had just to pay for some stuff, like get ahead in some things. And it's actually kind of that doesn't feel too bad either, doing that. So just don't be scared. I would say even knives that you think you love, and this is kind of what I went out to prove to myself, knives that you think you can't be without, you kind of can be. You actually can be. And you sort of have this slight holy feeling for a few minutes and then it's gone. This is very much an addictive hobby, or there's some element to it that is Moorish. Nick did a really great video on the FOMO, the fear of missing out, and I think I've been a victim of that sometimes. I've got swept away with things sometimes, and I think, yeah, once you rip that band-aid off, you actually probably would do better just having some fresh cash to improve your life, or some fresh cash to try some other cool knives and stimulate that knife economy. Just tell yourself you're doing that at any rate. So that's this video, just a little update, a little short one. More stuff's back. I've just been flat out. Sorry guys, you've obviously noticed that there's not that many videos coming out in the last couple of weeks. Just how my job's been. I'll be back with some days off pretty soon to film some more stuff, get awesome again, do some more knife lab, do knife lab. And thank you to all of you who put up with that silly cooking video I did. I'd been wanting to do that for a while. Quite predictably, it's not a hit, and I understand that, but it's another one of those videos that I enjoyed just kind of making and doing just for my own selfish needs. I was on the Knife Junkie podcast. If you want to check out either YouTube channel or on your various podcast feeds, and that was really good fun too. Bob is just an absolute lovely guy and a really nice guy to talk to, and if you're another gear person and you get offered, I'd really recommend going on that one in particular. He was just, really conversational, really good, and very just happy to listen. So that's the collection state, the state of things, and where we're going from here. So I'll see you all in the next video, my friends.
It's Brittany, bitch.